Also, Anchor. Huh. What? Yo, that was the weirdest chapter 3. Whoa. Another visit to the trial grounds. Every trace of the crime scene had been removed, as if nothing happened, save for Forte's portrait. Did someone put it up there? Say, you've got some explaining to do. Or she won't. However, when I saw the faint phantom image of blood painting the floor burn to the back of my eyes, the 5 of us stepped in warily, footsteps echoing in the chamber as we habitually navigated to our respective stands in silence. Another trial. Oh, when we split up, our groups have discovered a slew of information that attempted to explain our captivity. But in spite of making these discoveries that we thought would help us prevent further danger, another one of our group has fallen. Probably one of the sus ones though, because his background on the dossier was green. Like the other sus people, like Akihiko, Sei, Gaia, and like, his background was green. What's going on there? Oh. It is unfortunate that I must greet you like this. But welcome back to the trial grounds. A fuzzy hologram of Gaia appeared before us. Oh, you're here too. Sure, whatever. Showing your face isn't really going to change anything, you know. Gaia, do you know anything about what happened to Forte? I can't say that I do, but please consider my presence an asset to your discussion. Should you need any inquiries answered, I will do my best. Jeez, this one has been nothing but useless. If anything, I will posit that Zeta will, at least, respect my testimony. What makes you think you can pull the wool over my eyes? What if you two are colluding? You give her too much credit. At this point, she's nothing but an obstacle. Eve, or rather as you know her now, Gaia, knows zilch. I'm the only one who knows for certain whether you all will be voting correctly or incorrectly. After all, what kind of judge would I be if I didn't know? Freeing Gaia meant stripping her of her prize. Huh? But we're not here to talk about that. So, let's get this show on the road. Woohoo! Let's go over the rules, shall we? You're all on trial to figure out who the culprit is for today's heinous crime. The rules are as follows. Discuss, discover, and determine who is the culprit among your group. A majority vote will seal the individual's fate, and we'll just see what happens from there, yeah? One of few outcomes will occur. Determine and vote incorrectly, and the entire class is executed, with the culprit alone able to walk free and win the ultimate prize. That's the ideal endgame for the culprits if the prize is worth anything. Determine and vote correctly, and the culprit alone will receive proper retribution and perish at the hands of your group decision. You might just live to see another day. For what we shall see! Woohoo! Our victim today is Forte Solo, the ultimate opera singer. It's a real shame we never got to hear that baritone voice of his. C'est la vie! What happened to that CG? We had a CG. It was singing Ave Maria. What do you mean? So, you know what to do. I'm sure you'll get this one done real quick, like the other two. Zero chuckled to himself after his brisk opening statement. They all stared at each other from the circumference of the stairs, our eyes locking onto the most suspicious. But it's probably not going to be her if it's anything similar to the last case, but who the hell knows? Maybe that's what they want you to think. Oh yes. Don't waste your breath on this. There's an obvious answer. Is that so? Let us be the judge of that. This case is going to be difficult, but we need to try. Though I desperately wish this wouldn't happen again. The culprit must be found. First things first, we can't ignore the fact that Say was right in the middle of the crime scene, drenched in blood, presumably from the victim himself. Okay, Missy was bleeding too, that might be important. It is ineffable, the sheer amount of evidence proving that you are at fault for this. Make your own judgment. Fine. There's no way around the fact that no one else could have killed Forte, but I suppose I'll entertain you. Let's clear up everyone's alibi. When the 6 of us split up, the 2 groups were as follows. Missy, Forte and Say went to investigate the floors we've seen. Kanon, Echo and I were to investigate beyond the foyer doors. Here is when Gaia's statement will prove useful. Yeah, me, Lyle and Kanon were together with her for a majority of the afternoon, down in the testing chambers, and Missy did not seem to react when we said testing chambers, although I'm pretty sure it was meant to be redacted on her end. Only the 3 of us should know they were testing chambers. What's happening there? Look, she may be smart, so maybe she put the 2 and 2 together and like, oh, that's the testing chambers. I see, but I don't know. Something's weird about that. Ah, yeah. After we tried to get her off the hook in the last case too, I'm so sus of her right now. Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm sus of Kanon too, but like, I feel like Kanon was looking for something in relation to like the person she knew. I think that's why she went off. Like, I think she was trying to look for the person on her photograph that she didn't show us. Okay, I'm not sure if I read that, but let's move on. That is correct. I have not left the testing chamber since my release. I don't know if we can vouch for you, but okay. We'll acknowledge it when it becomes important. As for supporting Lyle and Echo's statement, I did not see anyone leaving the testing chambers. Nevertheless, I unfortunately took no notice of when Ganon supposedly left. Maybe during the blackout. Or maybe... maybe slightly before that even. Ganon, you managed to slip out unnoticed while Lyle and I spoke to Gaia. Where'd you go? So many names. I had to step out. Step out? And where to? Back to the main wing so you could sneak around and plot something on your own. Kanon in the main wing. If she were involved in Forte's murder, she never made herself known during our journey. Sorry, keep hydrated. The 3 of us didn't see a trace of her as we explored the rooms, and only the 3 of us went up in the elevator before Forte's demise, and apparently you lost the revolver. Oh my gosh, so... Woo! Okay. So only the 3 of you went up. Okay. Missy, is there anything else you can tell us about your group's exploration? Forte is no longer with us and Say is obvious culprit number 1. And Say might be unreliable. Who is reliable? I mean, Lyle and I got each other, but... Oh. Doesn't the blood speak for itself? Say, one moment. I'd hate to commit to a conclusion so hastily, so I would like to know what occurred leading to the events that caused my side of the investigation to unravel so grievously. The 3 of us moved as one unit in the main wing for the entirety of our investigation. Like I said, we all entered the trial grounds together. And... well, I cannot speak more plainly about what occurred after, though I wish more than anything it were untrue. But that wish is nothing but dust. The slash that has been carved in proves this. Yeah, okay, you said Say did it. Say turned the dagger on me. And it was apparently on the wall, because we did say there was a puncture in the wall, so that scene played out. Ooh. Clear as day. Say Kono is the culprit behind Forte Solo's murder! Hold it! If you asked me to act right now, I wouldn't lay a vote against Say. I was the only one present when she made her assault. I should know what her motive to cause harm was, and I say it was not with murderous intent. Stay still. Who harmed you, though? That action alone couldn't be indicative of more. Case in point, the very poignant murder of Forte? Are you protecting her? What do you even have to gain from doing something like that? Hang on. If Missy has an explanation, we should hear her out. I'm still apprehensive about voting too quickly, especially when we haven't yet established any rhyme or reason. Indeed, my testimony is not driven by a want to gain anything except the truth. Would I not be endangering myself if I voted against Say? Ugh! I see where this is going. Knowing how tiresome you all are. You want to dig for a reason behind these sorts of things, despite seeing that the conclusion could not be more telling. Fine. Let's talk motivation. Just cut to the chase, will you? Would be helpful. After all, Zero explicitly delivered motivations in different targeted ways over the course of the afternoon, except to lie on us. Motivations. What could have caused Say to turn the dagger against Missy, and possibly against Forte as well? And did hearing the other motivations cause someone else to behave differently? Ooh. Hopefully in turn, we might also get an answer to Lyle's question of what Missy might have to gain if she potentially were protecting Say. Okay. Let's see what everyone has to say about their specific motives. Alright. It was a photograph. We can guess that. Wait, you didn't even see it. Oh shoot, we'll press it later. My motive along with Kanon's was delivered shortly after our two groups parted ways. Yeah, okay. That's nothing weird. The bloody portrait of a friend whom the dagger once belonged. Oh, this is weird. We're playing with two timelines here. But like, I guess Lyle eventually went along with us, but still, it's so weird, right? Didn't direct any sort of gift to you. That's right. Is nothing the gift? Is that what we're saying? That's true. Forte's Solomon song was announced first, and Say's announcement of nothing followed shortly. Did she react to the message in any way? She didn't react in any particular manner, no. Nothing. It's only fitting for me. So that's so. It's possible that Say being left out might have left an impression on her. Oh, I guess we can't prove it. Okay. We, the player, can speculate it was a photograph, but I don't think any of the characters... I thought you didn't even look at it. You just crumpled it in the ball. We know that much. Okay, never mind. Care to expound on what the photograph is? Yeah, she didn't look at it, exactly. Do you want us to suspect you? For all we know, you could have been planning something from the moment you received the photograph. Well, hang on. If Missy said she didn't see Kanon around, it's not fair to call Kanon the culprit right away. Ugh. I still think there's something strange about her not being around when the lights went out. Though she claimed that she didn't look at the motive photograph, Kanon's absence during a majority of the afternoon was concerning. Yeah, I guess we're just pressing. I suppose it's not important right now. I guess we're not supposed to know in this timeline, so I guess we can press on her for that. Missy withdrew the sheath dagger she clung to after the second trial. Withdrew the sheath dagger. The murder weapon? I admit, I was overcome with a zealousness to confront the one we called Puppet Master, pinning the mocking photo on the wall outside the elevator with the dagger. how the dagger ended up on the trial grounds as the murder weapon. I can only suspect that Say discreetly retrieved it from the wall and concealed it on her person before attacking me in a state of panic. We're able to trace the dagger's origin to you, but you claim to have left it as a war adornment before entering the elevator. Correct. I still wasn't sure if I could write off the conditions of Missy's wound just yet. But Missy not initially taking the dagger with her into the trial ground seems intentional somehow. Oh. I mean, maybe she had no intentional murder. Just like how she left the gun behind in the last case. It was darkness. Oh yeah, we didn't even go this far, my bad. Darkness. I wasn't aware something like that occurred. Yeah, but if you don't have any remembrance of it, it might have lasted for the duration of when you were knocked out. I see. What does my motive have to do with the case anyway? We already discussed that me, Echo, and Gaia were all together on the floor beneath the foyer, nowhere near the trial grounds. Well, we have to assume it affected the entire building and that the group upstairs also lost their visibility. But no one can confirm that. Oh. The darkness occurring has to have some bearing to the timeline of events. Say, do you recall a blackout occurring? Yes. I can't believe I still have to ask, but care to elaborate at all? It's unimportant. Is that so? But during the moment before Gaia found the flashlight, it was too dark to even see my own hand in front of my face. How would it have been possible for anyone to have done anything without visibility? Night vision. I don't know. Or like some sort of mark. Based on the murder scene, we had a glaringly obvious culprit, but none of us could understand why Say would act in such a way. To make things more confusing, Say's the only one without a properly delivered motive. The timing and respective intensity of each individual motive. It must create some volatility in our headspaces as far as I can tell. It's a little tough to follow which ones are and which ones aren't relevant. Though, now that I think about it, what if announcing them was the purpose of the motives? Announcing the motives? But why would someone else's motive affect anyone but the person it's meant for? I was just thinking. I didn't receive a personalized motive either. But to hear that everyone got something that would try to provoke them to murder, wouldn't that be frightening? To hear who has motives and a reason to kill, you'd feel tormented that others could turn on you. That's all I can think of. Say received her motive last, at least before Lyle's blackout. In that case, we're back to square one. Say is the culprit. You just explained a reason why she would be motivated to kill despite not receiving a personalized motive herself. She heard all the motives previous to hers and must have been shaken by the potential of everyone turning on her. It's possible, but... No buts! If you need more proof, let's move on. With the advent of Missy's claim of Say's attack in mind, the next topic is obvious. That is the state of Forte's body. We can't see his face. The victim report was extremely non-specific, more than the previous. Vague. On purpose, most likely. There were an innumerable amount of stab wounds in his abdomen, likely from the dagger before it was finally stuck in his body. Excuse me? You saw him before he... Kanon quickly fell silent. Okay. Something you want to share? That's right. Kanon, you didn't even see the body, did you? Not according to us anyway. I didn't see the body. And is something wrong? Nothing's wrong. Why are you so shocked that Forte was stabbed? You clearly know something. Lyle, he's back. Please, Kanon, if you notice something odd, we need your help. Something odd. Something odd. My help. It's... I shot Forte. You did what? Kanon! That's what you were up to. You better explain yourself. Not only was the revolver out of Missy's hands when we met up with her, you also have no alibi whatsoever. I would hope Kanon isn't as contemptuous the person you think she is to deny information as crucial as this when cornered. But I must know as well. When did you come to the foyer? And to what end did the revolver's last bullet entreat to have finally been spent? Oh yeah, okay. Okay, so they didn't necessarily reload the gun since the last case. Yeah, because where would you get the bullets from, right? Kanon freely admitted that she caused harm to Forte, but to know why she meant to do such a thing caused an anticipation to rise in my chest. So are the stab wounds to mask the shot? No, but then what's the point of Kanon admitting it? Maybe to protect her? Oh my gosh. I've been suspicious of Say for a while. I had either a strange intuition or just another strain of bad luck led me on. What made me act was finally seeing that mystery announcer in the testing chambers. Echo and Lyle described with Gaia, the voice behind Eve. So naturally, the other encapsulated person must be Say's connection. But what made you suspect Zero and Say have any connection to begin with? I noticed her reaction at the first Killing Game announcement. She was transfixed on that voice, as if she heard it before. It's a small detail, but I couldn't shake it. From day one, I've only ever been suspicious of her. By laying low, she was playing the long game. That plan had to backfire eventually, right? So I slipped out while Gaia, Echo and Lyle were talking. I had to investigate my apprehensions about her. Returning to the foyer, I moved warily. I didn't find any trace of them on the first floor. The only thing I found was a photo on the floor and a puncture mark in the wall near the elevator. I just missed them. I noticed the elevator was at the trial grounds. I called for the elevator to follow after. Upon arrival, the doors opened and Missy was suddenly flung into the elevator cab with me. Is this at the trial grounds? She just dropped in, bloodied, and her head hung low. I thought she might have been dead. I looked in to see who her assailant was and saw Say and Forte in the middle of a struggle. Even though Forte had a dagger in his hand, Say was the one with blood all over her hands. He must have pulled the weapon away from her just after her attack. Suspicions about Say were confirmed. She was under our noses the whole time, waiting for the right moment to strike. Missy's revolver hadn't fallen out of her coat pocket. I grabbed it and didn't think twice. I fired towards Say. Well, thought I did. The lights went out seconds after, and I couldn't see where my shot landed. I couldn't run in and check either, since the elevator shot in my face and mechanically returned me and Missy to the foyer. I ran. Shot was fired, Missy was unconscious, and a blackout overtook everything. Does that statement help? We have it, a confession. Wait! Wait, for what? Is there any reason for us not to accept this as the truth? No, but Carnon said she fired the revolver. A gun wound? Where? And that doesn't explain the lacerations. Wait, did it land on his head? Forte's head, maybe? We can't ignore the one thing the Monokuma file detailed for us. There has to be some relevance. It's within reason for me to doubt that fact, aren't I? I can explain them. How? Because I stabbed him in the abdomen after he was shot. What? Why? There's no use hiding it since you confessed. Truthfully, I couldn't believe it at first. But seeing how desperate she was, I ultimately wanted to help Carnon escape. Ah! After I witnessed Carnon shoot Forte from the elevator, he fell quickly, and I saw his bracelet turn pink. I realized that because she wasn't with Lyle or Echo, Carnon would be the most likely implicated as a culprit. So I did what I had to do. I stabbed Forte's body several times near the gunshot wound to conceal it, making it look like he had died of blood loss from lacerations rather than the shot. Since I was the only one on the trial grounds, the blame would be redirected to me. After all, Connor wants to leave just as much as any of us. Why not give her the advantage? No, wait. So Connor became the culprit without even seeing her victim fall. Is that it? I can't argue with that. I didn't even see whether or not he died. That throws this whole thing into question, doesn't it? You're just going to accept it. All I know is that I fired a shot and someone ended up dead. What else is there to say? Unfortunately, as far as we know, the surrounding conditions of Forte's death are indisputable. Say is the only eyewitness. But is that really all there is to it? Given that I ultimately wound up in the foyer, it stands with reason that Carnon indeed visited the trial grounds, causing the elevator cab to go up and bring me back down after the assault. You witnessed that I did not find the revolver on my person after I woke. I can't argue with that, but... listen to you! It's all been laid out on the table! I'm not hiding anything this time. You want to keep going with this discussion because the truth is hard to swallow. Is that it? I have news for you. These trials are full of impossible to accept facts. I'm sorry for continuing this vicious cycle. So won't you just allow me to leave with whatever is left of my dignity? Just let me receive the punishment already. No, that's not it at all. I just... There's something bothering you. Just spit it out already. I couldn't help but think there was something missing. I was racking my head for an answer. For something. The story just feels off to me. I just don't know why. Everything is out in the open. What is there to deliberate? Nothing. Don't be a coward and just vote me off already. There's no proof of another culprit. Then you're just endangering yourself with an incorrect vote. I'm sure there's something else we can talk about that can save you. Connor, don't you care that you could be executed? Of course I care. Who am I to argue with these facts? They're impossible to dispute. It's my punishment, isn't it? It's only fair that I get what I deserve. Can't fight it. I didn't know what to think. None of us had an inkling of what truly occurred in the trial grounds. Kanon admitted that she shot Forte. Sei claims that the shot was what killed him. Sei masked the gun wound by stabbing Forte several times, allowing Kanon a clean getaway. But he has an injury on his head. Why would she stab the abdomen? But since Kanon unexpectedly confessed, is that what she's apologizing for? There's no reason for Sei to keep secret the fact that she disturbed the crime scene, making it appear the way it did. Oh my gosh. Sei's really trying to redirect this trial if it is her. All I can do is take their word as truth, right? Kanon and Sei's testimonies were the only things we had to work with. Yet I couldn't help but feel like there was much more to this. I'm struggling to find the truth in this trial, but would it lead me to a dead end? A dead end? Missy said something like that when I went with her and Forte the first time. What? Oh. We ran into a dead end of sorts when we were investigating the courtroom. We couldn't find Zero or any other hints. Except Forte was like acknowledging that beyond the wall is where they hold the executions, and he thought that Zero could be lying there. And then we were all killed one by one shortly after. Okay, it is Sei. Is that what you're getting at? Something inexplicable occurred as my consciousness faded. I returned to the time before we split into two groups. Ultimate time traveler. This time when I went with Lyle's group, I had information I never could have known if I didn't go with Missy's group first. I knew the testing chamber's code somehow, and that Pandora's incubated sister was Gaia, the ultimate cartographer. Was it possible that I needed to pursue this dead end? What's it all mean? I grit my teeth. I had an absurd idea. The discussion is over. There's nothing wrong. Kanon is the culprit. I looked over at my classmates who all had the same painted and startled expression at the finality of my decision. All of them were shocked except Sei. That's right. Nothing is wrong. Zero silently obliged, calling forward the vote screens to the other students. Everyone was dumbfounded, but with no other option laid before them, only one vote was to be made. So every time you're on the verge of death, you travel back in time? Is that what you're trying to get at? No. Ah, shit. Okay, let's see what happens. Oh, dear. Oh. Oh. What? And why is that logo there? Is that our emblem? Auf Wiedersehen, Kanon! Thanks for all your hard work. The room shook as the walls behind Kanon opened to reveal its dark depths. Kanon herself simply turned from her place at the stands and walked to the shadow. This is it. I fled from the stand, my feet pounding as they carried me toward the hallway beyond the walls. Oh, we're seeing this through. What on earth are you doing? I paid no attention to Gaia's call. I was pursuing that dead end.
I slipped in, Gaia's startled exclamation along with the other shocked cries echoing through the halls just before the walls shut. My head was thrashing from fear. Each breath I took was heavier than the last. I threw myself into an execution. Canon! I cautiously stepped forward. A veil of darkness caused me to lose all my bearings. Echo, what the hell are you doing here? I blindly chased after Kanon's voice, each step taking enormous effort as I fought against all my instincts of self-preservation. This isn't right! What do you mean? You all voted for this! This is my punishment, isn't it? I was closing in on her.
That's right. This is your punishment. This is everyone's punishment.
What? Whirring machinery clicked into place as bursts of light flooded the room. The powerful lights bled through my closed eyelids, burning the back of my head. With each flash, the sound of an object darting through the air hit the floor before us, each shot approaching our very location. No, no, no! Kanon's cry pealed out amidst the sound of gunfire. Oh! All I could see between the firing flashes was the silhouette of her body convulse violently, each hit pulling her body apart. A sharp object narrowly darted past me, tearing through my coat and breaking skin. Blood began to ooze from the cut. I heard Kanon collapse before me. I started toward the sound and tried to find her, guiding my hand through darkness in vain. Ah! Pinpricks met my hand. Needles! I felt around at the ground and picked one up. It was a small near-invisible thing on its own, but when shot at high speeds, the needles became lethal. Another series of flashes fired up, blinding me. Between flashes, I saw the mangled body that used to be Kanon, now a disfigured bloody mass. The metallic taste of blood filled my mouth and it began to choke. A sharp pain melted its way through my throat. I buckled immediately. Pangs of anguish overwhelmed my senses. If I was wrong about this, if I was terribly, absurdly, ridiculously wrong, I just put my life in danger for nothing. But following this dead end, there had to be something strange. I lost my grip on the situation. I only felt pain. The terrible sensation sank into my blood, and a flaming ache rushed through every inch of my body. If there's something bothering you, just spit it out already! Huh? I grasped at my throat. Skin was undamaged. Only the startling phantom of pain of a needle that pierced my throat remained. I wiped the sweat from my brow and met the gaze of concerned faces staring back from my exclamation. Kanon, alive once more, rivaled my panicked gaze with her own stoic expression just a few feet away from me. She was still waiting for our vote. Are you okay? Swallowing hard, I finally realized the purpose of these harrowing, strange occurrences. They gave me a glimpse of everything that could go wrong. Somehow, I managed to escape death twice. How was I able to experience an alternate history like that? I couldn't begin to fathom an explanation. I was trembling. My heart was hammering in my chest. But if this were anything like the moment before entering the testing chambers... I steadied my breathing. There had to be something useful in that moment of time between coming to a consensus on the culprit and being executed. If I gather what I learned from the two occurrences ending in death, perhaps I can put together a picture of what could have occurred. As far as the group was aware, the only clues we had to work with were on the crime scene, and there weren't that many to begin with. Forte's body had multiple lacerations clustered in one area, due to, say, hiding the gunshot wound inflicted by Carnot. He also had a small pool of blood near the back of his head. However, the other source of blood near the back of his head was what bothered me. Nothing clearly visible caused the injury. I didn't know how to explain the life-saving phenomenon I just experienced, but I knew I had to take the opportunity it gave me to find the truth. Look, I still don't think we have the full picture. Please, I can't vote for Kanon. So you're implicating Sei as well? Not exactly, but her presence is important. If you think something's missing, then just shout it out. We won't know what's going on in that head of yours if you keep stopping the trial for no reason. That's a problem. I don't know where to start. I couldn't yet sway the group with the absurd notion that Kanon would be wrongfully executed. I didn't have the means to explain how I knew such a thing. I just think we ought to continue deliberating the details. Something bothering me. If you could just entertain me with this, I'd like to further address the lacerations. While Kanon admitted she shot Forte, she didn't know whether or not it was the shot that killed him for certain. I saw her shoot him, but where? But let's say the shot itself didn't kill him right away. As far as I could tell, the stab wounds and the subsequent hidden gun wound weren't near his vitals. They were around his lower abdomen. And remember, the condition for lifting the darkness was to kill. Kanon, when did the lights go out? They went out seconds after I fired, and just before the elevator doors closed in on me. The elevator was still working though. I couldn't see a thing, but I felt the cab move, bringing me back down to the foyer without a hitch. Back down to the foyer? After I arrived on the foyer level, I waited out the darkness in the elevator cab before running off to the atrium. She waited out the darkness, and the darkness fell seconds after she fired. Lyle, we were just as immobilized in the testing chambers as Kanon was in the elevator cab and had to wait out the darkness as well, so... That means Forte wasn't killed instantly. Sei must have taken advantage of his injured state, taken the dagger from him with little resistance, and retaliated. He must have fallen weak from Kanon's chance shot, and when the lights went out, Sei stabbed him, finishing off to lift the darkness. In that case, what you said about covering for Kanon was a lie! So you really stabbed Forte to death. Missy knows it. Kanon saw it too. I saw? I turned the dagger on Missy first. She has the scar to prove it. Forte would be next. What are you talking about? I only saw Forte with the dagger, facing off against you. Then when did Sei acquire the dagger? If Forte didn't push Missy away in time, she would have fallen instead. No, you can't mean that. Why not? I planned that attack after I saw you pin the dagger into the wall. I took it. If you were planning to attack, why didn't you do so sooner? You had a perfect opportune time when we were all in the elevator going to the trial grounds. You're asking. That's enough! We're not getting anywhere like this. This discussion, it's impossible to make heads or tails of it. We had a culprit pinned from the start. Say! But we drew out the trial only for Kanon to take ownership of a hidden gun wound, and now we really are back to square one. Sei met the requirement for lifting the darkness and hid the gun wound, so we would vote wrong. Neither me, Missy, nor Echo were at the scene, so basing our conjecture on the testimonies of the two most suspicious people is it's impossible! Damn it, how can we possibly find the truth based on their word and word alone? I understood Lyle's frustration, but barring our discussion so far, there's always been an obvious culprit staring right at our face. But something inside me kept resisting the easy answer. I simply couldn't accept Sei as the culprit. I had to think. Those strange occurrences ending in death. I learned something I normally would not have. With no tangible proof of what I needed to express, I put faith in the facts learnt from my memories of the events, hoping something would work out. I put my faith in believing no one here could kill, not after what happened twice already. Just why did I experience those strange occurrences? In the two scenarios, my life was gravely threatened, and yet I still stood there with the memory of those events. After all, they had to happen for a reason, right? It was far-fetched, but I had to utilize what I learned, with hopes that the facts learned would guide me in the right direction. I had to think about what I've come to know. The information I learned when we visited Cyrus's room, it was about the killing game. The game was an experiment to see who would survive and who would win, to overcome other ultimate students. In the game, participants were paired with other close students to create friction between relations. The game was set up to sow chaos and disorder. Sei was listed alongside the former student Akihiko, now known to us as Zero. After Missy, Forte and I came to a dead end in our search, we discovered Kanon had been killed. Missy and Forte fell shortly after. Then I, the last one standing, heard the voice of the assailant, Sei. She pleaded for escape, but in my near-death haze, I could recall Zero himself telling Sei you don't want the prize. That even after eliminating everyone, killing wasn't the answer. I was whisked back in time somehow, back to the decision that would bring me to this point alive. Those were things I learned before falling to my demise. Falling for a sparse moment, that is. Finding new life mysteriously breathed into me, I wandered a different path, utilizing information that I learned from my previous experience. And that information had led us, here, to contemplate another murder. Foolish to think that the experience would be my last, as I would come to relive near death once again when our discussion became deadlocked. Our left, our right. Okay, I was wondering if shoulders were important. Like, we have to be hitting the shoulder to do this? Never mind. This time, I risked emulating that strange dead-end occurrence to pursue the thing I believe was missing from Forte's murder. It was a brief experience, but I saw the method Zero used to dispose of Kanon. Small, near-invisible needles shot at high speed, and little else before returning here. What am I getting at? The truth felt close, but I felt an apprehension rising in my chest. Sei, tell me, what happened after Kanon shot Forte? What happened? I stabbed Forte! How many times do I have to tell you? You stabbed Forte, but did you kill him? Isn't it obvious? It's not. Kanon claims that before she shot you, Forte was the last one in possession of the dagger. The lights went out shortly after, and from that point, no one can really say who had the dagger. And though the dagger was plunged into Forte's abdomen, giving us the impression of it being the murder weapon, I can't help but think otherwise. Primarily because of the scenario we found ourselves in. There was constant pressure put on us with personalized motives spread throughout our exploration. That is, until Lyle's final personalized motive. With a heavy darkness to stoke our fear, we would be scrambling until someone acted maliciously from the previous set pressure. But I couldn't even see my own hand in front of my face, let alone begin to think of a plan to kill and get away with it. So to carry out to fruition would be near impossible. If the entire building was indeed plunged into such thick darkness, I can't help but think, how could any of us have killed Forte? It's interesting phrasing. What are you onto? Recall when our group split, Zero mentioned something interesting. So you all decided to split up. That's alright, no sweat off my back, figuratively speaking, obviously. He could still locate us. Thanks to your fancy bracelets, I can still locate where you are. There's no escaping for you quite yet. It seems he is able to know our whereabouts within the building. In this case, he was able to locate us from our... Are you implying Zero has taken moves to actively, though discreetly, participate in the game with us? Smell going back. Yes, I believe Zero must have had a hand in killing Forte. That's nonsense! Have you lost your mind? Where are you getting this theory? I know you want us to entertain you, but this is a little much, isn't it? Lyle, please. I know it's a lot to ask, but I want you to trust me. I'd like to hear where you're getting this funny idea as well, Echo. Lyle's intensity burned through me, but he fell silent and allowed me to continue. He must be observing my next unpredictable move, just like when I suggested knowing the testing chamber's code. Zero idly gazed back at me, a complete poker face masking whatever scheme he was plotting. I felt a strange sense of conviction that connecting an execution method with the mysterious pool of blood that was behind Forte's head would lead me to the answer I was seeking. I had to use what I learned from Connell's execution dead end. The fact that Zero prepared a barrage of needles. It's like Missy said, the more he talks, the faster his options will diminish. If Zero's readying himself for an explanation, this was my opening to draw something out from him. Zero, I want the truth. The truth that you're the one behind this.
The truth? Let's see if you can find it.
Jeez.
You're making a ridiculous accusation, you know. How could I have possibly killed a student? I can only operate from within the courtroom.
Zero's goading me. His voice is unwavering, but there's a statement somewhere that I can use. There's no pink tags. With the chandelier, do we just click on... Yes, as far as we've seen, you can only operate from within the courtroom. But that's where the body turned up, isn't it? Oh, shit. I mean, yeah. That much was obvious. The announcement summoned us to the courtroom and there's no evidence of the crime being moved from one place to another. Oh my god, I did. Oh my god. What weapon do you suppose I could have killed him with? The only weapon was the dagger. Say admitted to using it. Nothing in this courtroom. Oh, the portrait! Excuse me! Excuse me! Come on! Do you suppose I could have killed him with? With what? Seriously. It's true that there was nothing in the courtroom, but there are things beyond the courtroom walls. Okay, never mind. Namely the tools used for executions that you clearly have some agency over. You conveniently omitted the cause of death because it would have implicated someone not from our group. Based on what everyone else knows, it sounded far-fetched, but to me, it was the only thing that made perfect sense. Zero seemingly had no power in the courtroom, proven by the fact that during the past two trials, the hologram's purpose has been purely cosmetic. That said, the machinery hiding behind the trial walls themselves could very well suffice not only as tools for executions, but for murder in and of itself.
That's how it's going to be, huh?
So, are you implying I took Forte beyond the walls, executed him, and dumped the body back out? Why wouldn't I just execute him and leave his body with the rest of the punished students? Leave his body with him. He didn't do anything to receive an execution anyway. I'm not so heartless. Uh-oh. Echo, this discussion is going nowhere. What would Zero even have to gain from participating? I have nothing to gain from intervening. And in my position, I certainly have nothing to lose. Nothing to lose? I don't know, did he betray you somehow? Ah, if the ultimate prize is so desirable, apparently it's not, that even an arbiter of the game would want to win it. Why didn't Zero eliminate us from the start? Oh! If Zero wanted the prize as well, we wouldn't have survived this. Oh, jeez. What would Zero stand to gain? 50 games. He wants to prolong the killing games. Nothing to lose. Wait, that wasn't pink before, was it? Nothing to lose. The location and method was clear to me, but the motivation stumped me. I had to concentrate. If Zero truly had nothing to gain by executing us all, why did he only now carry out a plan to murder one of the game participants? If he had nothing to gain, there must be something he didn't want to lose, something he wanted to keep. Do we even know what it is? Something or someone? Zero and Sei, they have some sort of connection. That very connection could become the motive I'm looking for. Oh shit! He protected Sei? Kanon noted seeing Forte with the dagger last, just before the lights went out. Since Sei is unscathed and the room showed no signs of a gunshot in the wall, it's clear Forte must have taken the shot. If Forte had the dagger the entire time, he could have used it against Sei, and if Zero were observing this offense against her, he would have reason to consider Forte a threat to Sei. That has to be it. It's impossible for me to assert with any certainty what exactly occurred in the courtroom. However, I can think of a reason why it happened. Yeah, right. And it's not for the ultimate prize. Like Lyle said, if the ultimate prize was so desirable, why wouldn't Zero get rid of us all from the beginning? In that case, winning the ultimate prize has nothing to do with why Zero acted. Although he isn't strictly a participant, he's still involved. That involvement, there's something connecting us as the participants to him as an overseer. Lyle, you have something very important that will complete the picture. The note. It reads, if you recognize one of the symbols depicted, then you have finally found me and are safe. Please do not speak of the note's existence. Trust no one but yourself. Lyle discovered this note in the pantry after seeing Satan duck in there for a brief moment. Seriously, there was a note in the... Sorry, I'm still hung up on that because, like... The note in the pool from, like, case 1, it was barely legible, right? And, like, only one of the symbols. I mean, unless we, like, conveniently memorized it all, but, like... I don't know, it's odd that they're saying he found it in the pantry. When I thought we knew it to have travelled to the spa lounge. We'll see. Sei must have known something as early as the 3rd day. No, even earlier since Zero's emblem was shown on the 2nd day. It's like Kanon said, when the killing game announcement came on, Sei must have been clued in on the person behind it. She's known all this time and played us for fools by ducking out of confrontation. So he's the other insider. The student profile didn't explicitly document any involvement in the game, but her files were paired along with Akihiko's, the one we currently call Zero. On the second day, when Zero summoned us to the atrium to present a special gift, this note must have been it. Based on what we know, it's now clear that Sei must have some insight on who Zero is. However, instead of thinking Sei was a spy within our ranks, conniving with Zero to plot against us, Zero is the one trying to bridge the gap between participant and arbiter to intervene with Sei's safety.
Huh? Wait!
But even if that's the case, why would Sei go out of the way to direct the attention of implicating herself as the culprit? Isn't that action in diametric opposition of what you're implying? No, I killed Forte. He deserved it after all. She would be forsaking her own safety by placing the blame on herself, the false culprit, causing us to vote incorrectly and inevitably causing us all to die. Zero has nothing to do with it. What Sei did to Forte during this trial was of her own volition, shattering the connection between her and Zero. If he killed her to keep her safe, she completely threw the sentiment out the window. I'm the only culprit! Vote for me! Well, Zero, what do you have to say about all this?
You'll never know the answer if you don't vote. If Sei confessed, what's stopping you from accepting her judgment as truth? You want to believe your friend, don't you?
What's stopping me? I want to believe that she could never do something like that.
Ah, is that it? Just like you're completely out of this world conjecture about me interfering, you have no tangible basis to trust her either. Such irresponsible thinking could lead to an execution, you know?
Zero wasn't going to be shaken so easily, but the fact that his arguments are lofty and just as intangible gave me some solace that I could turn the trial around. I could do so by focusing on the subject of his motivation. So, I'm not going to vote for you. You're the only one who knows what happened for certain. So please, tell us why. Why are you trying so hard to make us vote incorrectly? You can't possibly want us all to get executed, do you? That's exactly what I want. Complete execution! Even though Kanon admitted to something she didn't do, I went with it for the sake of redirecting the vote. Regardless if you voted for her or voted for me, it was going to be wrong, and we'd all face execution. We would finally be freed from this horrible game. So you can't possibly believe leading us to our demise is the right answer. Why not? I hate it. I hate it. I hate it! Pandora is gone. Art is gone. Cyrus is gone. Ashley is gone. Now Forte is gone. Because of me! I can't stand any of this. The pain and suffering. It's endless! Zero killed Forte to protect me, but I don't care. I don't know who Zero is anymore. I came all this way to find the shell of someone I knew. When will this nightmare end? When can we escape? Even if we don't kill, somebody dies and we're still stuck. We're trapped. And I'm tired of believing in something that will never happen. I have nothing to lose, nothing to gain. Why keep going? What's the point of fighting? Everyone is slipping out of my fingers, and I'll be left alone. Alone. Say, look around you. You're not alone. What? You say you have nothing left to lose, but what about the people standing before you? We aren't enduring the pain, the guilt, the torment of surviving for nothing. Endurance? Survival? Please. Endurance is worthless! Say aspiring? You can get suspicious, not alone. Wait, are we... Oh! Button mash. But a complete execution won't solve the problem. There's another way out. I'm certain of it. There must be. So please help me. Oh, I can't. Excuse me. I can't. Nightmare. I'm sorry. I'm focused on one match. Click. Forget. I want to stop this game too, but we shouldn't forget the turmoil our friends went through. Pandora, Art, Cyrus, Ashley, Forte. We simply can't abandon our memories of them in the past. I'm not going to stop the game by voting for you. I'm not going to abandon my memory of you either. I don't understand. Why? It's hopeless. Oh my god. Woo! Oh my goodness. The truth of hopelessness was staring us straight in the face. There was no denying it. I felt a desire to combat the terror that hung over us. And above all, after experiencing what Sade did to us, out of desperation, I felt a responsibility to vouch for her innocence the only way I knew how. Sade, you're not alone. You're here with us. As a friend. And you're not alone in feeling scared and hopeless. Everyone's trying their best to keep their head above water. I don't know what will happen after this, or if we even make it out, but you have to try. I did a horrible thing to Forte. Isn't this ending what I deserve? It's not your fault. How can you know that? I believe in you. Please. I don't want to see us go through anything like this again, so... You're the only one who knows for certain who the culprit is. The game will surely be over after we uncover this last truth. After all, you didn't kill Forte. Could I? Of course I didn't kill him. What? So scared. Okay, Echo was right about the motives. The fact that little by little, everyone was being pushed some way or another into distress. I felt the pressure mounting. Who was to know what sort of motive would be delivered? I took the dagger to protect myself. Couldn't possibly know what was going on in anyone's head after those motives, could I? I wasn't even relieved that I didn't get a motive because I couldn't help but think about everyone else's. That everyone would have a reason to turn on one another. When Forte said he would be taking matters into his own hands, I feared for my life. I froze after I slashed at Missy and he overtook the dagger. What Kanon saw was only half the story. He did appear to have the advantage over me, but it was just a performance. A performance for the only possible person in the audience. Us, the player? Excuse me? This is a team. Lights went out. Darkness! Lyle's gift, direct from his fears to you. Only murder will lift the darkness. What the? Forte and I were plunged into a never-ending darkness. Even though I hadn't moved, I couldn't even tell where the floor was. But somehow, he found me. Don't move a muscle. It seemed he quickly took action to meet the darkness-lifting condition. Finally, Forte had the dagger pointed at my throat. I could feel the chilling cold steel just inches away. Finally, I thought the time had stopped. Forte was still a stone with the dagger poised for my end. He whispered something so low, I thought I had imagined it. A stage where every man must play a part, and mine a sad one. Forte just fell. When the lights returned, I saw his body lying face up. A small pool of blood was forming behind his head. And I looked to see the trial grounds walls close steadily. And the Zero hologram with this awful, satisfied expression. He made a gesture, like he was holding an invisible camera. Zero clued me in on who he was going to mark as the culprit. Even though Zero killed Forte himself. Zero planned to manipulate the outcome of the trial. I could see the trial play out in my head. Forte's gun wound would have been the decisive clue. The pool behind his head probably thought to just be from the falling impact. I couldn't believe it. Forte was killed because of me. Nakano was going to be framed because of me. I picked up the dagger Forte dropped. The true culprit was never going to be found. I was going to make the trial easy and direct the blame toward me so the wrong vote and executions following could happen right away. And wouldn't have to suffer a long trial. This dreadful game could finally come to an end. After all, it's my fault Forte was pushed to do such a thing to himself. Killing is the only answer here, so he was forced into a corner, using me as bait to sacrifice himself to Zero. He went through those things. Me? Why didn't he just kill me and be done with it? He couldn't understand what had happened. So I thought if I could lead the trial to an incorrect vote, then the game would end without me having to do that terrible thing. And we'd be freed from this trap. But Zero saved me. He took you out of harm's path. At least that's what he thought he was doing. Say, you knew that he was trying to manipulate the blame off you. So why did you still redirect the vote to yourself? I had nothing else to look forward to. I ended up here for one reason or another, and all the signs have pointed toward demise. Because even after all that, whoever that Zero is, he isn't my friend anymore. And now, I have nothing. Say, you must know by now that we're here for you. Missy's right. We've been trapped. That much is certain. But we're not isolated. We have each other. And together we can help each other build up hope for escape. You don't need to act alone. Akihiko, we both wanted to save someone. You don't truly think this was the answer, do you? Manipulating the child like this, it's unruly.
Akihiko isn't here anymore. Since giving himself up to the game, his conscience has been long gone. Being so disillusioned by the way he and his fellow ultimates were treated, he dropped everything and let himself be consumed with despair. It's poetic, isn't it? He gave himself up because this game was the only thing he could cling to. It gave him purpose. In fact, Gaia is also holding on to the killing game. Can you really trust her? After all, she oversaw the game just as I am, before you released her, that is. All she did was watch and let Pandora die. You have no idea the sacrifice I went through. I see that the idea that you think I idled and watched her die. What have you done since to prevent it? You didn't try to stop her assailant like I did you? So, do you think Gaia is on your side? Spouting empty sentiment and rolling over, doing nothing but watch the game carelessly take lives? I'll tell you what. Your friend Guy here did something very interesting. Don't you dare demonize what I did! Excuse me? I never killed anyone in my game. You, on the other hand, why, you disgust me. I invited you to open the foyer door so one of these fools could deliver your punishment. They have no reason to trust you after all. There are no rules, save for one. Those who kill should not get away with it. Let me give it one more try. Gaia isn't your friend, not a chance. She has played this game once before and will do anything to keep herself from losing going forward. And even from the winner's circle, she did what she could to gain the advantage. She's the one who trapped you in this ship.
Shit! How could I have ever guessed? Anyway, even if someone won this game, there would be nowhere to go. You're completely sealed in. Left to die in isolation, confined in these walls. It's crazy, isn't it? In fact, trapping you all may be a ploy for her to kill again. Why not? It will prove once more that she's deserving of being called an ultimate. You don't understand. I did what I had to do. Oh, of course I don't understand. You're the one giving hope to these people. Yet all you've done is cause trouble. Unfortunately for you, I control what occurs in this vicious circle. And I'm using this power to keep safe. Keep me safe? You should have never brought me here in the first place. I know. I was tricked. This game is a farce. I won the killing thing that preceded this one and received the ultimate prize. The prize of a lifetime of suffering! That's the prize? Oh god, they V3'd us, didn't they? The prize. Within a group of incredibly talented individuals, should someone defeat their fellow ultimate students and come out on top, their efforts and achievements would be highly prized, wouldn't they? To see who would come out on top. That was the experiment the Preservation Project was conducting. The project wanted to gather the very best of the best, for the sake of the future, as it were. The Despair Project has ruined whatever semblance of Akihiko remained, creating this Zero persona. Zero was the false name you ran under in the previous game, after all. It's no surprise to me that it's being used again under the guise of a killing game operator. Despite that, Akihiko's will to protect Sei persists in the Zero memory. Forte must have taken the risk to see whether or not the entity connected to Sei would act. I hardly recognize him anymore. His voice is the same, but I don't know who that is anymore. There's no trace left.
That's right. He's a shell of his former self. The game and all its terrors now inhabit the ultimate radio host. Aki wanted to erase the wrongdoing he committed in this game and... Ready?
Hey! Oh my god!
Stop!
The hologram cracked in and out. The program was fighting itself right before our very eyes. Are we allowed to see that? 815165. Okay. Keep that in mind.
Your efforts are wasted.
Oh wait, that's someone else.
You gave yourself up to despair, and yet you still tried to deliver a signal of hope. You defied your own actions, the very self-preservation actions that saved you in the last game. What help into selfishness? I'll bury you!
The arbiter we called Zero was fighting itself, its current form and a former form, trying to make sense of its own actions. What the? What's happening? Conflict we cannot control. I have a last-ditch effort prepared. We cannot just overcome the darkness. The lights shuddered as we watched Zero's fight unfold. The Zero entity fought its way to dominance, greeting us with its haunting grin.
Well. I guess you caught me, eh? Huh, fine. The jig is up. I won't resist since I've been thoroughly caught in the act by some triumph of hope or whatever nonsense you want to admit. After all, I won't be doing your efforts justice to keep fighting back after you went through so much trouble. It must have been some rotten luck that got you out of this one, huh? Who are you, Echo? I don't know about how you, a talentless nobody, managed to realize the trick I pulled off. By all accounts, you should have all been executed by now. If all went according to my manipulation, Kanon should be a pincushion and the rest of you dropped into an incinerator. Well, what's stopping me from letting that happen? I'll execute myself and bring you all with me.
Don't you dare!
This is the last show with your host Zero, signing off today's cast with Eternal Death.
The lights bloomed violently, oversaturating the trial grounds with a blast of glaring heat. Damn it, no! Tremor tore through the room. The sound of metal creaking filled the halls, and the lights flickered dizzyingly as we all struggled to gain footing. Everyone, get down and cover your head and neck! We all dove to the floor, each quake jolting us to and fro with ease. Woohoo! The shaking came down to a low rumble, and the ground eventually settled to stillness once more. The lights returned to a dim glow, and the five of us cautiously rose to our feet. The trial grounds were quiet. It's that bastard Zero! Lyle crept to his feet, darting around the trial grounds for signs of the arbiter. Are you alright? A concerned static-filled hologram of Gaia illuminated the room. We're fine, no thanks to you. I'm sorry. I didn't anticipate the superstructure would have yet buckled under pressure, but seeing as Zero overloaded the systems, the adverse effect of his self-inflicted execution may have sped up the process. What are you talking about? That doesn't explain where you were and why you're never helpful. Lyle, come on. We're all fine, aren't we? I helped Kanon to her feet, as Missy did the same with Say. Are you okay, Kanon? A little shaky, but I'm in one piece. Thanks. Missy, Say, we're all right. It's a relief to hear. That's it, right? Huh? Sarah's gone. The game is over. We're done here, aren't we? So let's get the hell out of here. Hang on. Sure, he's gone, but there's so many more unanswered questions. First of all, he said we're on a ship. Even if we get out, we're still stuck drifting out into sea. Did I say we're out at sea? Okay, but you sure? That might explain some earthquakes, though. Or what we think are earthquakes. If there was a wholly unknown testing chambers below us this entire time, it's within reason that there's a helm hidden somewhere as well. Gaia, was it? He said you were responsible for such a thing. Is this true? Gaia sighed. I will answer your questions in due time. For now, I would like to ask that you all rest for a spell before coming down to the testing chambers. It's been a long few days for you all. And let you jump ship through a concealed exit passageway while a guard is down? No way. Well, I understand your desire to push forward, but a break would allow us to sort our thoughts. Please, I'm not going anywhere. I will await your arrival. Gaia's hologram clips out as the rest of us shuffle idly. Lyle huffs and shrugs as he made his way to the elevator. Looks like there was the end. There's no vote, no execution, just the end. Although Zero's destruction provided some relief, I still felt uneasy. There was still so much uncertainty that was leaking before us. The rest of us followed Lyle into the elevator, and together we returned to the foyer. Us remaining 5 students left the trial grounds in the shadows. For good. Lyle, Missy, Kanon, Sei, and myself. Only 5 of us remained. Our group, cut brutally in half by the game we were forced to participate in, finally found its survivors. In that very same order, we trudged out of the elevator cab and returned to the foyer. I'm going ahead. Don't wait up. I want answers. Gaia had better fess up about all this. Hang on, Lyle. I want to talk to her first. Alone. Why? I just need to know why she gave me a talent. How could she know something like that? Something I'm not even aware of. Why me? She implanted something, I don't know. Please, I need to know what's going on. Alright. Being an ultimate student isn't all it's talked up to be. It's a world of misfortune. I know. Lyle shuffled off towards the foyer door's entryway. The rest of the students stood by as well. It seemed no one else was quite ready to go down. I wondered what was going through everyone's mind right now. Say. Are you okay? I'm sorry. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know anyone cared. The only answer I could see was to have it all come to an end once and for all. If we died, we wouldn't have to suffer anymore. It would be an easy way out, but through that suffering, we'll find things to live for as well. I'm sorry. Again. You don't have to be sorry. I understand it must be frightening to be alone. I mean, I'm right there with you. But we're not alone now. You have me, Lyle, Missy, and Kanon. Sei turned to me with a gentle smile. I returned the small gesture. We'll be okay. We'll make it out of here soon enough. Strange. When you say we'll be okay, it feels like it could be true. But what comes next? I don't know. I want to see Ashley's father. I think I have a responsibility to tell him what happened to her. And after that... Well, one thing at a time. Let's just try to put all of this behind us for now and focus on escaping. Sei nodded. Thank you, Echo. Thanks for what? You don't have to. You care about everyone. I can can see why Ashley wanted to protect you so much. Yeah. Kanon, are you okay? I don't know. Kanon bit her nails, a sullen expression taking over. Maybe it's guilt or something, but something in me wishes I did actually kill Forte. Why? I don't want to sit with this feeling. This melancholy I'm feeling right now. I always told myself that I was just a spectator or whenever I took photos. It was just easier to detach myself from the emotion of the subject. There's something more tolerable in seeing someone else experience what's occurring in a photo. It's thanks to you that we found the answer in those awful trials. I guess. You didn't actually kill him with that gunshot either, so there's no reason to feel guilty. It's not that simple. I know. You shouldn't wallow in those what-if feelings. It's too painful to just bottle it up. You helped us out a lot, really. I suppose. But I never wanted to get so involved. I never got the opportunity to do so before all this, but I wanted to apologize properly after I turned your photo down. Don't worry about it. In fact, just forget it. I didn't particularly like the photo anyway. You know, I shouldn't have been so harsh. I stuffed my hands in my coat pocket. Huh? Wait, how did it end up in my pocket in this timeline, the fuck? Okay, I found the torn photo in my pocket. I lined the two halves together. Did Missy even give that to us in our... Okay. Here, you should keep it. Well, I know you weren't really close with anyone, but... Well, I just hope you know, we still think of you as a friend. Kanon carefully took the two pieces from me and sighed. Thanks. Let's get out of here alive. So the game is over? I can only assume. Gaia probably knows more about the situation though. It gives me a peace of mind to learn that none of us would perpetuate the mutual killing game. That said, she let out a weary sigh. Even my fortitude has its limits. You say that no one would perpetuate it, but Save tried to further the game, didn't she? She went so far as to hurt you. Would you believe me if I said I didn't feel malice in her actions? Fear is a fiercely powerful tool that shakes us out of our most rational thought. The threat of life strikes the heart of any primal existence, doesn't it? Chalk it up to a knee-jerk reaction. I posed a potentially dangerous question that caused Sei to react sporadically. Remember, she did have the dagger for a period of time before our entering the trial. She could have taken any opportunity if she were driven by malice. An odd move, but it was her move nonetheless. My move will be to forgive it. What move is next for us, do you think? Missy pondered the question for a minute. No idea. We'll reach land, presumably with Gaia's assistance. And once we're there, a myriad of options are laid before us. Do we rejoin our family? Do we make moves to seek out the Preservation Project group? Do we attempt to find the next of kin for those who died during the game? The future is uncertain. If we start small, we'll know where to go next though. Let's focus our energy on escaping first. I could not have said it better myself. We're going or what? Yeah, I don't know what to expect. I believe Gaia will be willing to talk if that's what you're worried about. She has been isolated in the testing chambers for what I imagine must have been a long time. Yeah, but... do you think this all could have been avoided? There's no use dwelling on that now. What's done is done. We should push forward.